Last night, we were planning on signing a one signing extension.
Well, it really didn't come out that way. He asked me if I was contemplating retirement anytime soon, and I said, no, I'm not. And I told a story of a couple of friends of mine who thought about retirement, and they wound up, one is Jim O'Brien, who's now working for the Dallas Mavericks, going back to work. And so my whole theme is, as long as Tom George is here, I want to coach here. But I always say this, as long as I can get in at 6:30 in the morning, coach every individual instruction, coach in the afternoon, coach the games with still the same passion, that's really my contract. It's not anything other than that. You know, it's all based on health and emotionally feeling good. And I will say I feel better than I've ever felt in my life, so that's a good thing. So it's probably roll a 7 tomorrow.
So 2017 is just a number, but really doesn't. You don't really have.
And that's the way. I think when you're 60, you just follow your passion and coach as long as you can, as long as you're healthy. And I'll never cheat the game, and certainly never cheat the University of Ball. If I ever have to cut back and delegate more, that's when it's time to go. And I hope that's a long, long way from happening. If I had my brothers, I'd like to stay a long time.
How much did last year reinvigorate you? You always talked about how much.
You know, it really didn't. The year before, when we had that lead against Moorhead and we lost the game, I really thought that was a terrific basketball team in terms of attitude and how hard they played. So that team really gave me as much joy as this past year's team. It's just the outcome was much better this year, and I'd rather have that outcome.
How is this team handling expectations? Coming off a Final Four, you'll be a top 3 at least team.
You know, you don't know until you stop practicing. I can tell you one thing, that last year the topic was focus. This year the topic is humility. Because I think that the only thing that can stop us is ourselves in terms of reaching our potential. And, you know, there's an old expression, the sophomore jinx, and everybody always asks me, what is the sophomore jinx? The sophomore jinx is when you're young and immature as a freshman, and you have great success. You don't understand why you had great success. You relax, you take it easy, and you have a poor sophomore season. And that goes for any year, whether you're a sophomore or junior. And that's called embracing success. So we want to stay away from that. I know our guys will have a lot of confidence in them that they will stay humble and hungry.
How much is the Final Four building block for this year? Does it help in scoring more runs?
The Final Four is always something special, especially when you have a lot of your guys back. You can build. You know, we have a lot to build on. We were according to Kenny, the lowest field goal percentage team in 50 years to go to a Final Four. So we obviously won with great defense. And the flip side is we were great at the defensive end. So we want to now get our offensive production up. And we have the ability to do that. We had to win with defense last year because of all our injuries. We didn't practice as much as we wanted to practice, but now our execution, our shot selection, and things of that caliber will really pick up this year.
With new rules, you get to spend more time living in the offseason. How much does that help going into this practice right now?
I think what the NCAA has done with the rule changes have been nothing short of magnificent in terms of allowing us to work with them, allowing us to text the recruits, getting to know them, getting to know where we stand. All the rules have been great. The only thing that looms large on the horizon is something that's going to turn back football, basketball, and all the sports, and that's the new academic standards that be in place in 2016. I'm hoping that'll be repealed somewhere along the way, and they'll come to the sense that that's not what's good for all student athletes, not just those that are affluent.
Because they're too challenging?
The standards are way too high. College is not for the rich and famous. College is for all people to get an education.
You feel like that challenge is kids?
It's totally out of whack. If you just do your research, you know it's not feasible for certain young people.
You feel like it's the incoming standards that need
in
to
2016,
yeah.
And I hope they'll look at that in terms of understanding the backgrounds of players and how that's just way over their heads.
Losing Mike Merrill, I think it's the first time in public since that.
You know, Mike had a bad accident. All he was doing was taking 2 steps, no contact. He turned and pivoted, and his knee blew out. Scotty Davenport has offered him the possibility of walking on with him for 2 years, working on his master's degree. Mike right now, he'll have surgery this afternoon, doesn't want to do that because he's afraid of blowing it out a third time. Everybody thinks that way right now because it's just going through the surgery. But 3-4 months time, the bug may, or the itch may become great, and that would be an awesome way to end your career, getting your master's degree and playing for Scotty and Bellamy.
I've heard where you mentioned Kevin Ware. Talk about his progress and how different of a player you expect him to be this year.
You know, we all put Kevin, and it's unfortunate, in a bad light last year. You come in, it reminds me of a 10-day contract when I was with the pros. Right away, the guy looks terrific, but he doesn't know that he plays offensively and defensively, and he's always playing catch-up. This year, he got to go through training with everybody else. He looks tremendous. If I had to pick one guy that looks better than everybody else at this point in time, which is early, it would be Kevin Ware. So it should be a heck of a scrimmage on Saturday, because if you said to me right now, which team's going to win, I'd say it'd be very close. The only difference maker in the two teams is Gorky. Outside of that, the one's close, the two's close, the three's close, the four's close, and it should be a heck of a game.
What will the fans see on Saturday? Do you have any specific ideas of the way the teams are going to set up?
I know the teams. We'll go with Peyton, Kevin, Wayne, Montrez, and Gorky. I don't know who the sub would be on that team against Russ. Russ versus Peyton. It's a toss-up. And then we'll go with Luke versus Kevin, Angel versus Wayne, Shane versus Montrez, and I'm not sure if it'll be VT or Zach playing. They'll probably be both on the same team. And it'll be very competitive scrimmage. I'm hoping that I'd actually like to see the second group that I mentioned beat the first group. It would be terrific.
Is Shane not doing what you had hoped, or is it just a case of Montrez?
He's just coming off. No, he's coming off 2 weeks of inactivity of not playing from an injury. So this is the first practice. It's just not practicing the last 2 weeks. That's the only reason. No, he's been really good.
Can you think of a time or a place when it's been like this much hype in a preseason around a region with 3 teams who've been this
Well,
good?
that's what I think. It's great. It's not, you know, whether we're 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, you don't know. Nobody knows until the balls are thrown up. But the region is very rich right now, and that's great to see. It's great to see IU back in the spotlight, and certainly they've got a formidable team. Kentucky's Kentucky. They're going to be great every year. We think we've got a terrific ball club, so it's great for this area because, and I don't mean this to sound demeaning to football in any way, okay, because we love our football program here. But football has sort of taken over the path and the journey for every university right now. Teams are changing illogically, leagues geographically changing, putting everybody else in a very uncomfortable position, and that's women's sports and all the other non-revenue sports that have to travel to all these places. So it's very difficult on them. Football gets on a charter, basketball gets on a charter. So for those of us who love our game, if you look at 3 states that have still stayed with tremendous popularity basketball-wise, it's Kansas, Indiana, and Kentucky. I mean, UK and Louisville always top 3 in attendance. We're top 1 in revenue production the last 9 years. Now Indiana's making their comeback. Kansas is Kansas. So for our states that are very rich in tradition in basketball, it's great to see. You know, we don't change our tradition based on dollars and cents, and that's great to see.
One more, Coach. Anything
How
else?
will you talk to the fans tonight?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. No, not really. We're going to introduce the players in a different fashion. We're going to have the players introduce each other, starting with a walk-on and give them 30 seconds and let them get in front of the spotlight. You know, the longer I'm in this business, and you all know it because you cover it on a daily basis, with the exception of the Oakland A's, you win because of talent. You know, Billy Bean has a different whole agenda to it, but the rest of us don't play money. We win because of the players, with the best attitude, with the most heart. So the players are going to get to introduce each other. They're the reason. I want to see which ones can step up, look at 1,500 people, and not get nervous. Because the ones that are going to get nervous about 1,500 are the ones that are going to be nervous at the foul line when 22,000 people are there. So we'll see what happens.